All right, welcome everybody to our first AMA. This session is focused on how to get started. And just so that everybody knows, what we're planning to do is we'll have these pretty frequently, maybe one every 2 weeks or one every week. Probably we can't do it next week just because I'm out on vacation. But the next one we'll do is in 2 weeks on Thursday, so the 19th of May. And we'll have another theme where we can do it. And just so you know that, this is a place where you can ask questions on each event. We'll have polls on, you can put your question on poll, and based on votes, we'll answer the most popular questions. Henry, can you mute everybody? And just so everybody knows, we also plan to make tutorial videos. Henry, can you mute everybody?
Trying to do that. 1 second, please. Okay.
Okay. So going back, this is not a substitute for our tutorial videos. We still plan to release tutorial videos. This is the M&As are a chance for people to ask questions that are not answered in other places. So you can also ask us questions on our Facebook group. And I think you'll probably find the best answers if you tag Henry, since he's on the software side and he knows the software in and out. But I can answer very basic and simple questions too. Okay, with that being said, let's start with our first question. So first question that's got the most votes. And by the way, if you guys have any additional questions or any additional topics that you want to ask, go to the events page on our Facebook group, and on there, there's a poll of questions. Just add your questions in the poll. And then after that, you guys monitor that poll. And if you see questions that you also want to be answered, just vote on that. So that's where we're answering. That's where we're answering questions from. So so don't type on here, just because if everybody types on here, it's hard for me to compile, which ones are the most popular questions. But if you go on that poll on the event page, on this events page, I mean, you found the link to get in, so you know where the event page is. But on there, there's a poll that I created on questions that you have. Just go there. If you don't see the questions that you want to ask, just enter in your own questions. If you do see questions you want to ask, just make sure you vote on it so that it can be higher in the vote and gives us a higher chance. The session is going to be about 2 hours. So Henry, the first question is demonstrate on how to set up your own SMPP. So why don't you share screen and get started on that?
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, first, in order to set up your own SMPP, or in order to set up SMPP, you would have to sign in. Now, what's super important about SMS is it has the decentralized version and the cloud version. Now, I decide to just log into SMS using the cloud version. What's that mean? How would you know you're in the cloud version? Well, first, it has the blue header right here. That's how you know you're in the cloud version. And I can just toggle and go to the decentralized
Henry,
version.
I think you have to mute everybody because there's some people's microphones are on and you can hear noises, and it won't be good for recording. You have to mute everybody.
I'm trying to find a way how to automatically mute everybody. I'm currently manually doing it here. Let me see. I'm going to check that out later. I haven't checked it out yet. Let me just continue now, okay, with the tutorial. So now I'm in the decentralized version, right? And you know it's decentralized because it has this red header here. And of course, you can go to the cloud because it's showing the cloud. So you automatically know you're in the decentralized version. So how do I go about setting up my own SMPP? Well, SMPP that we provide right here, you start by clicking on messages. And here you have SMPP, and here you have SMPP configuration. Now, there are several ways on how to set up SMPP now. The first way to set it up, very easy way to set it up, is to simply use, hold on, I'm having an issue with participants joining. How do I automatically mute all? I got it finally. So now I just muted everybody. Excellent. Well, the first step that you would want to take is to understand how you want to configure SMPP. While I was looking at the questions, I realized that folks would want the complete explanation on this page. So I would start with the easy method, and then I would end up with a more advanced method, which is your SMPP on your computer. Now, to start, for the very easy method, and a method which a lot of users have already used and are experiencing amazing result, is switching here, switching the gateway all the way to the Twilio gateway to use the SMPP provided by Twilio. And that process is actually straightforward. You come here where you got off, because when you have your account, the default is it's automatically using the decentralized IoT SIM card gateway. So if I clicked here and I enter in my Twilio SID, my Twilio auth token, and I click save, what will happen would be that the decentralized version changes completely and begins to behave like the cloud version, where you have fax, voice broadcasts, ability to buy your own number. The beautiful thing about it is you would be paying the wholesale Twilio API charges, or the wholesale charges for sending out messages. And that's the lowest rate that Twilio would give to you. So let's imagine you put in these two things. Now, once I click save, the platform will change. I'll just try it now. And you can see it's changed now. All of a sudden, I have this button that I didn't have previously, where I can get new numbers by myself, just for the numbers I want, and get these numbers. I also have fax. And my dashboard also has changed. I previously had this Twilio number previously, so it changed. It wouldn't work now because I didn't put in my Twilio data. But just because I clicked on save, it's already getting ready for complete two-way messaging and using SMS 100%. What's also lovely about what I just did is that while I'm using Twilio here, I still have my gateway. So that means I can still send messages using my SIM card, because my SIM card is still here. Nothing happened today. I have a dedicated page for just sending out messages using my SIM card. If I didn't want to use my AI control panel, same thing, I also got the contacts. And of course, going back to your AI control panel, you would click here, then you come back. Now, if I go back to SMPP now, and I looked at the second option, first, very importantly, while you're using Twilio or while you're using a SIM card, you can as well also use SMPP here, because this is SMPP, but this is an inbuilt Twilio gateway, so it's different. what's amazing, as I stated, is while this is on, you can also have this working, because when you want to send out messages using SMSA, using your SIM card or Twilio, you normally use this sections to send messages, or other sections. Also this section too, and this section is right here. And I'm going to use this, and this is your number, right, that shows here. However, for SMPP, it's different, because right here you have a dedicated page for just SMPP. That's why it's different now. My send from is different. I show my sender ID that I have right here. Let's imagine I had all my SMPP credentials ready. That simply means that I can easily send messages using my SIM card or Twilio here, and also at the same time simultaneously send out messages using SMPP that are configured right here. Now messages would go, and how do I see the messages between SMPP or using my normal SIM card or Twilio? Everything goes to the log section. So this is my inbox, my outbox for single messages, and here is my outbox for SMPP messages, or all messages, Twilio, my SIM card, whatever. They all share the same log section. So I've talked about very easy parts of doing SMPP, talked about Twilio. Now let's talk about this. There are different ways of actually achieving this. You have a lot of companies that actually would give you your credentials, where some of them charge about $20 per month or $15 per month, and they give you SMPP credentials. They give you the host, the port, the username, and the password. This you can set it to whatever you want. You can send the ID. If you want two-way messaging with SMPP, then you would want to put in your phone number here, not the sender ID, a phone number, words as I have it now, because when folks want to respond back to your messages, they wouldn't be able to respond back to just this, right? They can only respond back to numbers. And if you want these folks to respond into SMSA, all you're going to do is use your number that you have here, right? When you use that number and put it here, all of a sudden, I'm saying SMPP using that number. That's how I quickly achieve two-way messaging. So I've talked about the very easy part of just using Twilio. I've talked about the second easy part of going on Google search and finding companies that offer SMPP and they provide these data. Now I'm going to talk about the last part, which is the very difficult part of actually configuring SMPP on your computer. Now, in order to do this, I would start by, just 1 second. I want to pull up the URL. I think I have it right here in my browser.
Hey, Henry, we have a customer ask, can we use SMPP without Twilio?
Yes, of course. This is the Twilio gateway. It can go off. You don't need it. Okay, that's different. So this Twilio gateway is so different. When you want to use it, that's when you put it on. Now that it's off, if you notice, my phone number will change back to my SIM card. I can no longer buy new numbers. I no longer have fax, but I still have my SMPP. It's always here, ready for me, because it has this dedicated page of sending messages. It's always here. You can send bulk or just as contacts, right? So it's always here ready. You do not need Twilio to use SMPP. This is so different from this configuration. This configuration has nothing to do with this configuration. So for clarity's sake, I'll just continue without even putting this on no more, okay? So now I'm at the final part where I'm talking about. Did I make an error with everybody still talking there? Just 1 second. I believe I muted everybody, right? All right. So now I'm talking about the final part, the difficult part. But you will bear with me right here because something is very required to actually make this work. And what is required to make this work is a server running Windows. Either a Vista, this or this, but has to be a server. Now the Windows server can be, I believe it's available on all Windows machines. All that's required to be done is to have it configured on your system. If I go to Google here, say Windows server, this is what I see for an example. So the Microsoft Windows server is actually available right now on your systems. What's the difference between Windows and Windows Server? Well, the Windows Server is meant for you to run systems. The main thing about the server or your Windows machine, I would just make it so super clear and easy. Your normal computer, you should look at it like a local network. It cannot be accessed by others from outside your internet connection. Okay, so when you have information on your local desktop, I can't access it, others cannot access it. You probably have a local host, which is always 8080303000. Now, a server is different. A server has a local host of 3000, but then it has something interesting. It will give you a static IP address. Now, that static IP address is how another computer or another individual can access and see that server. An example of a server right now is what I'm looking at. This Google page is running on a server. If it was running on your normal desktop computer, I can't access it. You can access it. Only the owner of that desktop computer can access it. However, because it's running on a server, which has a static IP address. And this static IP address is configured to a host name called google.com. Now, all of a sudden, you can visit that server by going to its IP address, which is pointing to google.com as the domain. That's the difference between a server and your normal Windows machine. Why do you need SMPP on a server and not a Windows machine? Because you want to communicate with other networks outside your network. You want a situation where you can send out information from your network publicly, and the public can also access your server publicly. Without this possibility, you would not be able to configure SMPP CLR or SMPP at all on your machine. It would just work, but it would not be able to send messages. It wouldn't even be able to work because you would not be able to have your server IP address or your port name. So let's imagine a situation where right now, just as you
Hey, Henry, you're mute, buddy. So we can't hear you. You're mute.
Okay. Thanks. So now I would imagine a situation where just as you have your Windows operating system ready, you also have your Windows server ready. That is because we will need your server address. And the server address is static, not dynamic. And in order to get the static IP address, you get that from your ISP provider. And that's where you get internet from. So your network provider, you would call them up and make them understand that you need a static IP address from them. We currently have a lot of static IP addresses from Comcast, which we use for SMS because we run our servers in our data centers. At your country, when you call your network or your ISP provider and you request for a static address, you get one quickly. Here in the US, normally you get it if it's a business Wi-Fi, if it's a business internet box. For personal home ones, they normally give dynamic ones. I do not know of the how it's done right there in your country, so I would just assume that you got it. Okay. When you get that server IP address, which is configured in your Windows system, and your Windows server, just as you have your normal Windows operating system. And remember, if you do not really have the skills on doing this, a technician can easily come and set up your Windows server for you, or you go on Google and you download it. But it needs to be done in your systems. I wouldn't be able to help you do it on your systems. Okay, it needs to be done in your systems, just as you have your Windows operating systems running right now on your systems. Now,
Hey, Henry, we have a question about this. That somebody says, so if you need to use SMPP, I should get IP address from our ISP to send
yes,
SMPP.
exactly. You need your IP address. That IP address will be configured to the Windows server that you have, any of them. Okay. You got a lot of Windows Server. When you start installing it, okay, what happens is you would be required for your server static IP address to configure it. And if you do not use a firewall to close out ports, that means you're gonna have any ports from 800 to 888. Any port that you put right there would work if you do not close the ports with a firewall. Now the username and the password, I will show you how to set everything using this software on
Hey,
Windows.
Henry, somebody asked, sorry, didn't get it, which means this Kaplan soft unable support standard Windows.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Does the Kaplan soft, is it unable to support standard Windows?
Kaplan soft.
Yeah, this software you're on right now.
Yeah, Kaplan soft supports Windows.
No, he's just talking about standard Windows.
There is nothing like standard Windows. There is Windows operating system and Windows servers. Okay, that's the let me try to recap so he can understand more clearly. Now you have Windows operating systems. You have Windows for desktop and Windows as server. In order to use SMPP, not just Kaplan soft, SMPP, you need a Windows server because you need your IP and your port. You cannot attach this to your normal Windows system. On your Windows operating system, you can have a Windows server running there. That's why it's lovely. On your normal system, you can download it. Now, I believe a lot of systems already come also with the server in it. All right, so on your normal desktop, you can actually have your Windows server running on it. So that's very easy. It can run on your normal Windows operating system because you're gonna download it and you have a different operating system. You would want a dedicated operating system because it's going to be on 24/7 if you want to send messages 24/7 because you probably would send messages and you would non-responses from your customers. So it would not make sense if your server is down. It wouldn't work no more. Your folks wouldn't be able to respond to you unless, luckily for you, they're already responding to numbers that do not connect to SMPP. But let's imagine you wanted a situation where you wanted to keep sending out messages 24/7 because now receiving doesn't really matter if you just using SMPP alone. Okay, for where? But if you want to send messages 24/7, then you would want your operating systems to be on 24/7. If you just want to send messages between time frames and stop, then you can have your server on while you send your messages, but you should not shut it down until your messages has been completely sent. Then when it's sent off, when it's all gone, and you no longer have campaigns on queue or pending or campaigns that you still want to send, then you can shut down your server. Now, going backwards, let's imagine the server is running like you have your normal desktop running now. You called your operator and they gave you your server address. And most importantly, you know your ports. Your ports, you know them because you have your server. You're going to see your ports right there. Okay. And if you do not use a firewall, all ports are open. So you can just go with 8080. Really any. Mostly it's 4 letters and they all work. Okay. SMPP CLI. What does this do? Well, this is actually just one out of several SMPP softwares available. The reason why I talked about this is because if I tested it, and it's actually simple and easy to use and direct, as long as you have your server address ready on your server and your server is active. Now, SMPPC is actually command line SMPP. It makes GSM. It enables you to send out GSM messages. This also includes MMS. Now, the reason why you're going to set all this is because if you noticed, in SMS itself, you also need the same data. You need your hosts, not the IP address, the host. Remember, when I stated that a server is so lovely because you have the IP address, but normally folks would visit that server not using the IP address. Of course, if they visit the IP address, it works, but you would want a situation where you redirect them properly and avoid DNS errors, etc. Example, if you put in our IP address directly, you would not go to our website for security purposes. But if you put in SMS-iT.ai or several other domains that are pointing to that same IP, you just go. So the IP address is kind of like the straightforward address on how the public can access your server entirely. But now when your server has different files, etc., it's kind of difficult now for that IP address to come and just go there. So now it needs a direction, and that direction are the hosts. Because these are actually folders. These hosts that you see are folders, like you got folders on your computer, in your desktop. But because it's a folder on a desktop on your server, which can now be accessed by folks that are public, which are folks not within your network, right? Your network is your internet connection. Those are home or those within your office that you give your Wi-Fi or internet connection to, or you connect using your Ethernet cable, will be able to access your network easily. But those outside would be accessing it easily, right? You use these folders using these hosts. So example, when you see something like this, SMS-iT.ai, this is actually just pointing to a folder, the main folder, which is index. When it goes to, let's say, control panel.SMS-iT.ai, this is actually a folder on, just like a folder on your desktop, on this server. And the server IP addresses, that's my server, that's our server IP address. However, you cannot go directly. But this page is hosted on my server. This is the default because now you just come in without the direction. That's what happens when you just come. But if I did not have other folders going around, all right, then it's just going to show whatever I put there as a default. But because I have other folders going around, when you just come directly, and because this server, you say it's showing you IP addresses changed, it's showing you different things, it's because of the different directions. And that's the reason why you need the host name when you want to configure. That's why we ask for the hosts. We don't ask for the server IP because we want to go directly to your SMPP configuration on your server. Same thing happens here.
Hey, Henry, we got a question from a customer. They said, can you share a few examples of SMPP service providers from where we can get the required credentials like username, passwords?
Yes, very, very cool. Before I do that, I just want to, because that's actually super easy, but a customer yesterday showed me SMPP providers. Customer yesterday showed me yesterday. So you can already see some SMPP providers here, and they just give you SMPP, that's all. So you got this one. It depends on your country, right? Because you would want a situation, right, where you get the best deal. You just put in SMPP providers, and then you're going to get the best deal. There are a lot of folks, right? I haven't seen this one in the past. I'm just seeing it now, right? And then it looks as though they just give you the connection that you need. All right. And when they give you that connection, what happens? You come over to SMS-iT and you plug it in there and you go. But now I'm trying to show.
So Henry, they also asked, how about Egypt and other Arab countries? SMS and SMPP can work. So how do they find the ones that can work with their country? What do they need to do?
Now, what you do is you go to Google and you do what I just did, and you just type in SMPP providers. Now, I'm in the United States, so that's the reason why it's giving me just for the US. So I'm in San Francisco, right? So it's giving me just for the US. But if you do that now, where you are, and you say SMPP providers, you would see providers around you, okay? You would see providers that would provide for you in your local region. I actually had a customer that actually, let me see, he provided me with an SMPP. I don't think I can find it here. If I can find it later, he provided me with an SMPP that he got in this country. All right, I can see if I can find him here. I'm not sure. He provided me with an SMPP that he got in this country. All right, and he's currently in the process of configuring it. Okay, I would just simply say that he just went on Google and did ran a search, and he found those, and I believe that's Brazil. Okay, let's see if I can find the name of that. Just 1 minute. Yes, so he's using in Brazil. He's using this one called Gateway API.com. Hold on. Yeah, so he's using this one. Okay, and that's what he's using right now. And it seems they have a lot. Let me have a look at the pricing. So they seem to have a lot here, and it seems to be worldwide too. What they do is just provide you with the SMPP credentials, because this individual is actually using it right now. He actually came right here. So I'm gonna put this right here in the chat. So this individual had this one, and then he told me he tried sending a message, and he had an error that said message ID. Okay, and after this conversation, I mean after this webinar, I would be checking on the reason why that occurred. Okay, and I would also have my updates posted on Facebook on this exact SMPP provider. Okay, because he was able to get everything he needed. He sent the message. The message had an issue where SMS said sender ID, his message ID was not accurate. Then he got back to these folks, and these folks gave an advice, and we're looking at that advice right now, so we could have that sorted out. And then this would be a highly recommended SMPP provider once we're done with this by today. So this is how you can easily come here. These folks seem to be providing this, and I like their pricing, especially for the US here. It's a little bit, not for the US though, that's too expensive for the US, because the cloud version gives you a 0.004. So that's too expensive. It's better to use the cloud than using this. But for others, like Germany and others that have issues, this is a very good pricing, right? Now, I would continue talking about setting it up on your computer for free. So I've imagined I have my lovely server, right? And my IP, my ISP gave me a server IP, a static one. And I can use any port. Next thing I want to do is click on support. You're not getting intimidated when you see all this. It's really nothing fancy. Okay. This contains all the steps you actually take. I will break it in to show you how easy it is to complete. So I'm already sure that everybody on this call is very familiar with using a computer that has its desktop on it, and you know how to create folders or called directories, right? So the first thing I want you to then imagine is, imagine that server, that desktop you have now is your server, because it's the same thing, it looks the same, especially when you have a server that you have on your system. It looks the same. It looks different if you go rent the server, because you do not have access to plug in the screen and see that same desktop. It's the same. So let's imagine you now understand how a desktop looks. You know how to create a folder. Now, with this simple knowledge, transforming it now and imagining you're looking at the server, first thing you want to do is you want to install SMPP CLI. To install this, the first step you want to do is this. You want to create a new folder or directory on your desktop or on your server. I'll just use desktop so everybody can follow me. You name that folder SMPP CLI, like you create folders, right? After naming that folder, you're going to download SMPP CLI from Kaplan itself. You come here, you download. When you click on download, I'm going to do a Control F and just say SMPP CLI, because that's what I'm looking for. And it's here. When I scroll down a bit, it has the freeware edition. You can send messages unlimited forever. But with this freeware, you can only send 10 characters. So it's perfect for when you test, because you want to run the test properly well before you go ahead and say you want to purchase it. Because to purchase it only costs around $55. Come to buy. And you come here to the purchase form. It's going to ask you for what you want. We're going to go for SMPP CLI. $55 is going to show. One time, forever, you don't need to pay nothing no more. The system ID comes when you've installed SMPP on your computer or on your server. To download it, like as I already made mention, just click. It actually downloads a zip file, a regular zip file that everybody knows. Very regular, nothing fancy. And then remember we created a folder named SMPP CLI at the beginning. And we just downloaded this SMPP CLI zip folder from here. Everybody knows how to extract the file. Now you're going to extract all the contents of what you just downloaded into that new folder, that new folder that you created at the beginning called SMPP CLI. After extracting all the data, all the contents of SMPP CLI.zip into this new folder, next thing you would want to do is open up a notepad, normal notepad. Now you go name that notepad SMPP CLI.ini or SMPP CLI.ini. Your notepad has an extension of .stst. When you name this, you have to put the name as SMPP CLI.ini. So it changes. It becomes an ini file. Inside this ini file, you're going to copy everything right here, from here all the way to here. You're going to put it into your ini file that you just created from Notepad. You're going to save it. You're going to take this ini file and put it inside this folder that you created at the beginning where you extracted. This zip file contents where you had all the zip file contents extracted and available in. So you put in that same file you just made right now and you dropping it right into this folder. This already is here, right? Now remember, your lovely ini file has this. And this is where the magic comes now. You're almost done. 90% done. As you can see, it gives you some default values. It's telling you what to do. When you see this, means that everything here is just a comment. It does not work. It only works when there's nothing in front of it, like this works now. So it's telling you what to do, and then you do it. This is where you put in the static IP that I told you was super important. And this is where you put in your port. Once you just put in these two, you're actually ready to start sending messages because you already have a default username and a password. And this can be anything. It does not need to be set. This can be blank. This should probably be blank. And this should be blank. All right? Because you do not want nothing here, and you probably do not want nothing here. You can put this if you want. If you want dedicated from number. The reason why it's not important is because you already got that here. You can switch whatever you want here. That's where the magic really comes now, because as I stated, once you put this here and you put this here, and of course you do Control S, you save, you're already 95% complete. Oh no, 100% completed. Or let's say 99% because you want to test it to make sure it's working right. And that's where the final magic comes into play. Because now you're going to open up your command line on your server, you're going to navigate to your folder from your command line. So you can have this. You do CD, right? Everybody knows how to do that in the command line. You'll say CD / so destination public desktop, or on your folder, you on your server, right click, copy the URL destination. On your server, right click the folder, the SMPP CLI folder, and copy the destination. Come right there when you do CD, right? Like you just come into your command prompt, you do CD, the space, and then you posting, and then you pasting your destination URL is going to bring you here. And this is probably what you're going for. Once this is done, you're going to finish this up now by pasting this code in. This is test code. Remember this though. You would not paste this exact code in. It's an example of what you're supposed to do. Because most importantly, if you noticed, you actually put in your server address here, right? But then what happened when you're trying to test? You do not test using your server address. You test using the domain name that's pointing to your server address. Because remember when I told you about addresses and them being public, this is the public one that points here. Just like you got SMS-iT.ai pointing to a server. You need this because the SMPP needs to know what it's going to use as its network to connect to the public world. So when we say you send services using your internet, that's what we mean. This is your internet here. Because this is your internet connected to your IP address. What does U mean? What does D mean? Well, they're right here. You're going to notice that the first one that's here is going to be your from number. And the next one that's here is going to be a to number where you send over to. And several other numbers too. And the from number, remember you add it here. The reason why you want to just quickly set this with the same SMS from here is because you're trying to test, right? And then you put that from number that you already have here, and then you try blasting it away. Once that occurs, you would receive, and of course, this is the message you want, whatever message you want. When you click enter, you're going to see a message in your console telling you what happened. If you see nothing, that means it's not configured properly yet. When you see that there, that means it's configured. It's going to tell you if it's successful, sent, pending, queued. And that completes the process of how you configure your very own SMPP on your accounts. The only thing lacking right now in this presentation is because I did not set up a server to go into the server and put up the SMPP CLI. But if I start going through that process, it's going to take hours. It could take hours because configuring a server has a lot of tricks. You could just configure a server right now and all of a sudden it's working properly, but then you might notice that it has some dependencies and that could take some time. And then you spend maybe 2 days having your server properly configured. So that is something that I cannot show here, especially with the fact that it's very similar to having your Windows configured on your desktop. A lot of folks can also utilize different kind of servers or different kind of SMPPs.
Hey, Henry, let's move to the next question.
All
The
right.
next question we have is what third-party softwares are needed to use SMS-iT?
That's
So
a very
just
that's a
just start to go through the list of options that people have.
that's a very good question. Now, to actually use SMS-iT, the only third-party software that you would need first would be for your email marketing. So you would need either MailChimp, GetResponse, ActiveCampaign, Aweber, or Sendinblue to actually use SMS-iT. And this is for your email services. Let's imagine you wanted voice broadcasts and faxing. And voice broadcasts are different, okay? They're different from placing voice calls or receiving voice calls. I'm talking about voice broadcasting. If you wanted voice broadcasting and faxing, you would want to use our Twilio Gateway, SMPP. And these are the only third-party services that you actually need if you wanted to use SMS-iT for your emailing, for faxing, and also for voice broadcasts. Can I have the third question, please?
Henry, why don't you talk about for third party needed? Why don't you talk about kind of go through the list of whether they want to use Trilio or they want to use SIM card, phone plan, stuff like that. Why don't you go through all that?
All right.
Like basically they just register for the first time on SMS-iT. What can they do completely out of the box with no third-party software, and what can they do with third-party software? Just kind of walk through the whole gamut, not just email services. So just
All right.
walk through the whole gamut.
So let's imagine a scenario right now where you came into SMS-iT, your decentralized version. This is what you're gonna have. You're gonna have a primary number. You probably have this one. Now, if you reside in North America, okay, if you reside in the United States, Mexico, Canada, this public number is perfect because destinations within North America is good. However, destinations outside North America is not reliable, which is why we do not advise using this for destinations outside North America. This simply implies that once you have SMS-iT, you could instantly start sending messages immediately without doing nothing else. You just come in and you go all the way to messages and you send your message with a public number, MMS, SMS, as you wish, OTP2, and that's it. Nothing else to do. However, you will not be able to receive messages. It's just for one-way messaging. Perfect for North American destinations. Nothing else required. Plug and play. If it's the cloud version, you do not need any third-party services for the cloud version. You can practically buy numbers from us very easily. You get the first one for free, from faxing to voice calls to receiving every single thing. With the cloud version, you need nothing. The only thing you still need though for the cloud version are the services for email marketing, MailChimp, etc. This is only when you need a third party for the cloud version. The decentralized, at the beginning, same process, of course. You need the email marketing, which is a given for both. But then for this, you don't even need your SIM card or nothing. You can start sending out messages right away. Now, let's imagine you wanted two-way messaging. Okay, you say, I want two-way messaging. I want to use the cheapest third-party service I can use now for SMS to enable unlimited messaging with two-way messaging too. Now that's when you go for your SIM card in your Android phone, because I would imagine these are third-party services, but I wouldn't call them third-party because this should be your services. So I call them your services provided by third party. So the critical third service that you would need, a third-party service that you would need to have SMS it working properly for two-way messaging, not one-way, would be your SIM card on your Android phone. So when you come in here, the first thing you should remember is this. I want my SIM card configured. Normally, when you come in here, you receive a pop-up. In that pop-up screen, you should simply follow the instructions there. This one, just follow it. With this, you can configure. SMPP takes you right there, but with this, you can easily configure your SIM card. When you simply follow these steps here, some folks have issues with these steps because they want to go too fast. Some folks have problems following this simple step. Example, we say, proceed to SMS Gateway to access your account. That's super important. Then we say, after accessing your account, okay, download this app to your Android phone. Some folks do not follow this. They go to the Android store to download the app. That's not what we say. We say, after accessing this, go and download this. And what happens is, actually, if I tried accessing this right now, it's asking me for this because I'm not signing properly. But if I access that normally, okay, let me see. I don't think I have a gateway for this demo. So I don't have a gateway for this demo. I would have to get an account for this demo.
Hey, Henry, somebody asked, what if we have a different email service provider? How do we connect to the email marketing?
Oh, that's a very good question. So for that, we currently have SMTP, not SMPP. SMTP coming out with other providers, and we currently only have SMTP coming out, and constant contacts is all what we have on our agenda. If you want more email marketing services, please come here and let us know. I believe we have an extra email marketing service that's outside constant contacts. I need to get it, which was placed here by a user. So that's what you do. You come right here, okay, and you submit your beautiful, amazing idea. Then you can watch, okay, how the idea goes all the way from under consideration to plans to development and all the way to shipped. And the reason why I say you come right here is because as a community, we would not be able to build SMS without you guys, without your inputs. Okay. So
it seems that SMTP is already on the roadmap, right? It's already planned.
Yes, SMTP is already on the roadmap, and SMTP is different from your email services because it allows you now to use your free emails or any email account you have with SMS to do your emailing. Okay, but now because it does not have other automations that this ones would have, you shouldn't expect them to work. You shouldn't expect anything free to work as much as when you have it paid for. Like this one, this are very good. So if you have the SMTP, it's lovely, but you should not expect the lovely automations that MailChimp gives to you, or GetResponse, or ActiveCampaign, or Aweber, or Sendinblue. All right, you should understand that. Now, I was talking about configuring your phone. And it's super easy to have your phone configured. My issue right now is I'm not, let me try getting into a different gateway so I could just show. So let's imagine I came right here and I wanted to come here. When I come into the gateway for the first time, you will be greeted by this. You're gonna see it. It's gonna pop up in your face. I don't have it popping up in my face now because I already have 3 SIM cards configured. And I just use only 2 SIM cards to send millions of messages within just 2 months. Almost 500,000 messages without paying a cent, just using my unlimited plan. This is the power of using your own SIM card. Why wouldn't you want this? Anyway, let's keep going. So this would pop up, and you can always access this because you can add an unlimited amount of SIM cards. So if you don't see it pop up no more because you probably removed it, you go and click on Gateway Devices. Then you would see it.
Hey, Hen, we're still on your email service screen.
Oh, you can't see my. Oh,
yeah, we
really?
can't. Yeah, we can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
let me let you see this one now. Boom. I'm sorry. I didn't know you can't see it. Can you see now?
Yes, we can see now.
Excellent. So I was showing you that when you come to the gateway first, this is my SIM card, and using just 2 SIM cards, I was able to send almost 500,000 messages within just 2 months. This is the power of using your SIM cards, and I ain't paying nothing extra apart from the fact that it's unlimited messaging. Now,
and when you say SIM card, that's like getting a phone plan for $15 or $20 a month, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. You normal.
Explain. So also when you do this, you don't need SMPP, the whole complicated process, right? So kind of explain that, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So you don't need another complicated process. That's an option. SMPP is an option. You can just come right in for the first time, okay? And then you decide to say, you know what, I want my SIM card. I want this. I want 2-way messaging. I want everything my own. See, 2-way messaging. You want everything. Now you want to click on this. But remember, when you come for the first time, you would see this pop-up giving you instructions. Following it is so simple. You just follow it. Everything I'm going to do right now, I'm just following these steps. If you notice, it says, it tells you, you can choose SMPP if you want to, you just keep going down. You don't need it. That's why it says or, SMPP number or. Okay, it's optional. So going back to my gateway, as I tried doing previously, if it comes up, going back to my gateway as I tried doing previously, if it comes up, okay, well, I see, I think I'm just making an error, right? I should share my entire screen, but anyway, it's okay. So coming back here to my gateway, you go, 1 second. So I was just trying to come back here, okay, telling you how super important why when you come to your account, it's here. And this is so important that you read it. We also send this information to you by email when you create an account first. If you take your time to go through this, we get set instantly and easily. And this instructions here already tells you that you can use your SMPP number or your SIM card, not and. Okay, that means it's not required to use your SMPP number. You don't need it. You don't need to go to SMPP at all. All you need is your SIM card. You can achieve same results that I already achieved. All right. Okay, so going back here, if you come for the first time, you would see this pop up. And these are my devices here. Okay, this is Google File. To my devices here. So let's say you came right here. For an example, this is what you're going to see once you come to your gateway. First thing you're going to see is this. You're going to be greeted with this. A lot of folks just want to take a QR code, take a picture of it. That's not what we told you to do. You're given steps to follow. The first step says, download the latest version of Android app from here. We did not say go to the Android store and download the Android app, because the Android store has an app, but it's not the Gateway app. I'll show you now. It's not the Gateway app. It's the app for the entire platform. It allows you to control the gateway remotely. And we got it for the Apple Store and Google Play Store. This is not the this is the entire app. This is why I stated that you can actually just download this, or you can go to the Play Store one, okay? And you can actually, I don't know why it's connecting. Well, you can go to the Play Store. We are there on the Play Store, right? So you go there, and then when you click on it, or you search right now, you would see our app on the Play Store, but it's not the app for the gateway. Okay, it's the app for the entire platform, as though you logged into the entire platform. All right, the gateway app is different. It converts your phone into an IoT GSM modem. All right, that's what happens. So then you first start with this. What I normally do, which is smart, is I come here, I right click, I copy the address. I'm gonna put it just right in the chat. And I copy this address. What I do is I send it to myself on the Android phone that I want to use. Because I'm trying to download it somewhere. I could log into SMS-iT using the browser on my Android phone and do it. But because I want to scan the QR code, right? I want to do it that I take this URL and I send it to myself either by email or by SMS message on my Android phone. Then I click on that link and start the download. When you start the download first, because it's not coming from the Android store, it's going to prompt you, telling you that your phone is not configured to allow downloads from unknown sources. It's going to prompt you to go to your settings section. You go there, you allow your phone to download the unknown source, which is our app, SMS app. And then you go back and you continue the reinstall process. Then you're going to be able to start the installation process. While you're installing, you will be prompted, okay, to either select yes or no. All prompts, you should have the selection of yes, yes constantly. When you're done, you're going to the app. You're going to click on it to open it. You're going to have two ways to sign in. First way is to sign in with your username and your password. Don't do that. What you should do is you click on sign in using your QR code. Okay, so when you click on sign in using your QR code, and it's going to ask you for permission to allow your camera to take pictures and videos. When you enable that, then you're going to be able to scan this. Once you scan this, you will be in your dashboard looking at this, something like this. All right. Now, when you're in your dashboard, what happens next is on your dashboard, on your Android phone, remember, very importantly, you have a read button, a play button at the extreme right side of the screen at the bottom. You're going to click on it. It's going to tell you to confirm services, to start services. You're going to say yes. And now your gateway is turned on. Now, you can quickly test out your gateway to see if it's working. But before you do that, I would advise you finish up the step here because you're not done. You want to link your gateway to your AIC panel, to your AI control panel. And your AI control panel is your normal account that came from. And that's this. This is your AI control panel. Always has been. Okay. Now the issue is after all the configuration you did with the SMS Gateway, your number hasn't changed yet. If your number doesn't change, you don't have two-way messaging here. And you cannot send messages from here and they pass through your gateway. You will need to link your gateway to this. And we made it so super easy, direct and straightforward to accomplish this goal. This is the only step you need to take. You're going to click on this. This is also available here. And remember to go back to your AI control panel, you click here. Anyway, you're going to click here. So what does it say? It says, click on this using your mobile number. So let's click on this. You can click here directly or click here. Now you're going to put in your email address of your account, of your SMSA account. You're going to put in your Android phone number where you have our Gateway app installed on. Then you're going to put in your Gateway API key here. How do you get that? Do not fright. It's right here. Do not click on it directly. Instead, right-click it, open it, because you don't want to go away from here. If I do that now, it's just going to take me directly to the page, and I'm going to lose everything that I just pasted in here and here. And I would just want this, imagine. So I'm going to come right here. That's it. Copy. Come right here. I paste in and I click Connect Gateway. And that's all. Once I do that, I'm just going to wait for 24 hours for it to get connected. But if I want to speed it up to less than 5 minutes, I'm going to go to the SMS, come to SMS here, just here, and click here to talk to somebody. And I want to tell that person that I want it done. That person is going to get it done in less than 5 minutes. And that completes the process. And how do I know it's done? Well, I know it's done because when I come back to my AI control panel here, I'm going to see that this number has changed. And then when I send a message to this number, I'm going to see it appear here. I'm going to see it appear here for my chat, for my two-way chat, quick two-way chat with folks. All right. I'm going to see what's happening here. Look at somebody's phone. It's not here. I'm going to be able to do my two-way chat. I'm going to be able to do what I want to do here. Okay, I would see it here. Okay. I can see here, and of course I could just click here and go to the logs directly to see here, because this is my inbox. Everything I do is always here. And I come here, of course, click on logs. Then it automatically just shows me my log inbox, not outbox. So do not get confused that you send messages, you click on logs and you saw nothing. This is just for what's received, okay? If you want to see what you sent, the single contact messages are here, the bulk, which you sent using your groups, are here. So whenever you send messages and you did not select a group, just come here, okay? If you send out messages and you selected a group, then you come here. Voicemails, your voice broadcast, your call forwarding, they're all here too. I can't see faxing now because I don't have faxing enabled. If I wanted faxing enabled, okay, and I came here, of course, Twitter is the fax man. All of a sudden, I got fax, right? But all of a sudden now, I'm going to be able to go back to my log section, and I got fax now. All of a sudden, I got my fax outbox and my fax inbox. Okay, all of a sudden, I actually can fax. If I want to fax easily, I'm just going to make sure that that number has a fax number attached to it. As long as it has a fax number attached to it, I can fax right now. For example, I can did this dude. I give him a fax number. I also give him an email. Right. Save that now. All of a sudden, I can actually fax the dude, and I can also send an email. As long as he has an email, there you would see that you can then send emails. As long as he has a fax and you got your Twilio enabled, you're going to see that you can send beautiful faxes, high quality. And you can also receive faxes too. Same number, you don't need different numbers. So that's how you know that your connection is complete, because your number would show right here. And then if you send a message to that number, okay, you would see it appear here. I need to go back right to the gateway and go back to my SIM card, right? So I don't get confused here. Now it's back to normal. So that's how to come into SMSA, and without nothing, start sending out messages using our SIM card, or you go through the process of configuring your gateway, as I already did, right? Go through the process of configuring your gateway, link it, have your gateway ready, okay? And also, then you have, so you got your SIM card, right? You also have SMPP, which I already showed you how to do. You got Twilio, which I also showed you how to do. And then for your email marketing services, you simply, if you want MailChimp now, you're going to click on MailChimp. And in MailChimp, you're going to put in your API key. After putting your API key, you click Save. When you do that, what happens then is your list would populate. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. I'm just trying out. I'm not sure, but if it was, yeah, it populates. Example. Okay. Now that I can click Save, and all of a sudden now I can start going around, playing around with this. Put another key and switch it up. But now it's pulling out my list now. I can start playing around with it if I wanted to. That's an example. Same thing with get response to. Same thing with this. If I wanted this, I would have to put in the API key here. Okay. I put in the API key here, and maybe go ahead with that. And bring up my list that I have on the bed. Save it.
Hey, Header, we have a few questions and comments. Okay.
All right.
So let me go through the comment real quick, because I think there's only one. They're saying that it'll be helpful to have a more detailed step-by-step video tutorial for each task. And then after that, somebody else says they agree that they need more detailed step-by-step video tutorial for each task. So to comment on them, we plan to release video tutorials for each task. I think the AMA is for a chance for everybody to come and ask questions. So it's not a substitute for video tutorials. So yeah, so Henry, they want it more detailed. for each task and to do exact examples. Okay, and then after that, we have some questions now. Okay, so somebody asked, does it work for Moose Send, Groove Mail, SendFox integration, Keo, Nix? I think for those email integration, the emails that it works for right now are the MailChimp, GetResponse, ActiveCampaign, AdWeber, SendBlue, SMPP is coming, I believe. And if you want any more, go to the roadmap and enter in what you want. Okay.
And also for that, to add something to that answer, you can use our APIs and connect directly with this other services. So what?
Okay, so you could also use the API to connect. Okay. And then after the next question, Henry, is it possible to elaborate about your special offering, SMS-iT free SMPP accounts, how it works under able to send super speed, 100% delivery, unlimited SMS worldwide?
That's a very good question. So what we're doing is so simple. We're using our servers to provide SMPP for our users. Now, our SMPP, of course, is unlimited, but it's only unlimited for those with an unlimited package. That's the first thing you should understand. Our SMPP that we're going to provide is going to be public. It's super speed. Yeah. When I say public, is because everybody's going to be able to use it. It's going to have your two-way messaging, because with SMPP, you don't need to have a number attached to it. It's already sender ID, as I showed here, right here. So what happens is this. Hold on, my internet is just. So what happens is this. Right here, everybody would have this same, this, and this. What you have now that is different is this. And what we're doing is so simple. We're coming to a deal with these dudes, okay? And we are providing the server, a very strong one that would go very fast, so folks can now use it. And that's how we provide this SMPP. However, the reason why we telling folks to actually go for this, which is just $55, and now wait for hours, which is free, is because you cannot compare your own network to a public network. No matter how fast that public network is, because it's public, it's going to have what we call queues. So no matter how fast it is, if I came right now and I'm sending a million emails and you come after me, you're going to have to wait until I finish mine. Even if mine is going super fast, 2 messages per second, now you're going to have to do the math, okay, of 1 million messages I'm going to send first against yours coming afterwards. So it's there, just as we provided the phone number for folks. But the reason why we're providing it is because folks are complaining that this number is not enabling them to send out messages outside of America. So we said, okay, we're going to provide SMPP too, so at least these folks will be able to send out messages. The free SMPP is not a substitute for you to have your own private network. It's a perfect substitute for those that actually have no other option and are not utilizing it, let's say, for day-to-day normal business operation, and they're not utilizing it, saying that's the only channel they want to utilize it for. Is for folks, example, you come on the network right now, you want to get it going. You don't have time right now to set up this or that, and you have a campaign now to saying you can use this and shoot off your campaigns. Or something happens, your network goes down, you can use our networks for your backup. But when you come into the system and you've used our networks, example, you tested it out, you love it, next thing you should do is to scale your business. You cannot scale your business without having your trusted private networks. Why did you think we built up SMS-iT? We built it up to give you the power of having your own private decentralized network. If you decide to start using just only the public one, then you kill the whole idea or the whole concept of having a decentralized system for you. You understand? So this SMPP that we created should not stop you from going ahead and configuring euros for $55, because we probably going to use Kaplan Soft too. All right, because we're looking at Kaplan Soft and some other folks that look good about Kaplan Soft will probably go with that, especially with the fact that we're telling folks to go with Kaplan Soft.
Okay, Henry, I got next question. This customer asked, so only one gateway we can use at a time, either number provided by you, SMPP, or SIM card. Am I correct?
No, you can actually use SMPP, normal SMPP, or you can use your gateway, and you can also use Twilio. You can combine all three at the same time. So example, how do you do that? So you come in here, let's imagine right now, this is my number. Let's imagine I configured my gateway, okay? Or I came in right now and I want to configure my gateway. I come into my gateway, remember my gateway, I go to my gateway, I configure it. Now, after configuring my gateway, if I also want Twilio, I come here to SMPP where I already have this, right? And then I switch this on, I put in my Twilio data. So let's imagine I put in my Twilio data and I also have SMPP, on my computer or rented, and I put that. So now I have one, I have Twilio 2, and I have my SIM card 3. But check this. Now come here, I'm seeing Twilio, right? I can send with Twilio right now using this. Okay, this is Twilio. If I want to send with SMPP that I'm renting on my computer, I come here. Bulk SMS file SMPP is different. It's going to give it to me SMPP style. To make it easier for you to understand, let me come here and make this my SMPP count. All right, you know what I'm doing with this? So when I go to send a message now, you're going to see the difference between coming to the place that Twilio or my SIM card would use, which shows my number. All right, it's kind of similar though. Or to the place that I just use SMPP standalone here. See, it's different. It's not the same, okay? It's a different dedicated page. And then I decide to also still use my SIM card. All I'm going to do is just go to my gateway. When I click on SMS Gateway, and here I'm going to be here, ready to use my SIM card. This is how I achieve the process of actually using SMPP, Twilio, and my SIM card all at the same time.
Okay, I got the next question, and I believe you just answered. It says, what if I want to use a SIM card for once and then I want to use SMPP? Do I need gateway set up again, or how do I switch between service? And I think you just showed them how to switch between service, right? Okay, great. So I think I answered everything on the chat, and so I'm going to go back to the poll now. So if I miss any questions on the chat, please type it in, let me know. But I'm going to go back to the poll now. The next question on the poll is, what is the difference between cloud and decentralized? And when you answer this question, Henry kind of answered also in the context of, credits. What equals one credit? How does credit work? How do you burn credits? For cloud, what do you get? You get a number, you don't get it, so kind of go through all that, the difference between cloud and decentralized. Okay.
That's cool. Well, in order to start, I'm going to post something in the chat and I'm going to go from there. So I just posted in the chat now. Actually, it's going to talk about exactly what I'm going to say. So, what is the cloud and what is the decentralized version? The first thing you should understand is that the cloud is out-of-box solution. Imagine a situation where you walk into a car shop, you want a car, and you just walk in there, you pay, they give you the keys, and you drive off. That's it. Decentralized version is different. You come in right there, and you're giving the car but then you told to bring your engine, part of the engine. You got an engine, but you told to bring some other things. The engine is out. Okay, you can customize the engine and do it how you want it. We bring about, let's say, 95% of the engine. You bring in 5% of the engine. And that's how I want you to understand how it works in order to begin to understand the cloud and decentralized. Now, because the cloud is come, pick up your key, go, pay and go, and we handle everything. The main differences are, number one, you don't have unlimited messaging. You do not have unlimited messaging because you're using our network 100%. And we charge for this. When you come here, you're going to notice that we got different pricing for the cloud version. There's nothing like unlimited messaging here. It does not exist with the cloud version. For 1 million messages, we charge this. And our prices are more competitive than that of Twilio's. Now, with the cloud version, you can do everything. But please forget about trying to bring your own part of the engine. That means there's nothing like a gateway, nothing like SMPP. It does not exist here. No SMPP, no gateway, no SIM card, nothing. None of this occurs with the cloud because you do not need none of that. With the cloud, you get one number that you can use in sending out messages worldwide. Different countries too. That same number enables you to also send out faxes. You do every single thing that SMS-iT is supposed to let you do. But you're just doing it now with extreme comfort. But you're paying per message. This centralized version is when you do not want to pay per message. That's the main important thing. So if you do not want to pay per message, you would have to bring 5% of the engine requirements. That's where your phone comes in to play. That's where the gateway comes into play, and the SMPP and all that. These are just the 5% of your engine, of the required engine, right? That you bring in to actually have this work. And you're going to notice that apart from the fact that it's rate and it's different, you cannot pay for credits. This is a normal monthly plan. It's unlimited already. You pick up the pro version, and we charge a flat rate of $200. So immediately the AppSumo deal goes up. It goes back to the normal rate where individuals would pay $200 every month in order to use our cloud service. And as you can see, it's unlimited messaging, nothing else to do. The cloud, decentralized, the cloud comes with one free number that you can have and start blasting out unlimited messaging immediately. The decentralized comes, and the cloud, of course, when it gives you a number, it's a private number, your number. There's nothing like a public number with the cloud version. But for the decentralized version, you end up with a public number when you just have an account that allows you to send unlimited messages from the get-go, one way. But of course, it's perfect for North American destinations. Then when you start putting your own services, now it's perfect for any destination that you choose. And that's the main difference between the cloud and the decentralized. And of course, one account gives you access to everything. So one account gives you access to the cloud, gives you access to the decentralized. Also brings together your code leads section that you got right here for your code leads. And that's the main difference, I believe. The core main differences between the, both versions.
Henry, did you talk about how much credit each burn up and what types of credit things burn up? Emails burns up no credit, fax. Can you kind of talk about credit?
When it comes to decentralized version, there is no need to think about credits because it's already unlimited now. So there is no, you're not paying for credits. There is nothing like credits now here. You're just sending messages. And these
No,
credits keep coming.
Decentralized also has credit, depending the tiers that you have. They both have credit.
Yeah. What I mean is you don't really think about credits as a factor, because it's always one credit for any messages that you send, for fax, for emails, for RCS, for whatever you send. It's the same amount of credit. The reason why you are going and you're seeing different tiers of different credit amounts on AppSumo is because that's AppSumo's an LTD plan. Our normal plans do not have this. We just have unlimited credits for $200 every month, and we're coming back here. So if you really love the LTD deal, you should grab it quickly, because it's going away very fast, coming back to the normal $200 every month. It's just one plan. It does not have different kind of plans. Pro, we also have hybrid. Not showing here now, because this account does not have hybrid enabled. But we also have the hybrid too. All right, for folks that want us to get a SIM card for them here in the US and keep it, manage it in our server room, that's a hybrid version. It's quite expensive and steep, and I don't think it's required for even talking about. So that's it. But the cloud version, if you want to see the pricing for the cloud version, is available on our website. What's available is exactly the way it is. So if you come right here, for example, and you went all the way to pricing, it simply spells it out. It spells it out to tell you how the credits are. It's just simple. SMS is 1 credit, MMS is 5, emails are 0, fax are 3, voice are 2. Toll-free numbers to send out messages, 1 extra credit is required, and to receive messages, 1 extra credit is required, because toll-free is a little bit different. But right now, we just made the toll-free credits to be the same. Okay.
Hey, Henry, we got another question come in from a customer. It says that, so the number that is listed as your public number, it can't be used to send message to Asia countries. It's only for North America.
So the numbers normally can be used to message worldwide, but we have been getting issues with delivery. Not our fault. It's the fault of the folks giving us the networks right here in the United States. Some Asian countries would work, some folks would receive it, some would not receive it. And if that's the issue, then we just say, you know what, don't use it for outside North America, because now delivery seems to be an issue. So that's the reason why if you are from Asia, etc., and you want to send to North American destinations, you can go ahead. If you want to send to Asian destinations, we can guarantee delivery, good delivery. So you shouldn't use it.
Okay, so I think we're caught up on all the messages on the chat. So we got one final message on the poll, and I think that's our last question, because we're reaching our 2-hour mark.
Okay.
But the last question on the poll is how to set up campaign using smart tools.
That's a very good question. Now, to set up campaigns using smart tools, we actually have different methods. First thing is this: if you want to set up your campaign, you want to come to groups. Then you want to add your group. If you want to know how to use SMS-iT easily, please always put your mouse over this and just read it. And you're going to see that it took so much time to make you understand how to use the platform a little bit easier. We're going to make it better. But I believe now with this, it can really help. So we're going to name this group, let's call it demo, for example, keyword. Whatever I add as a keyword, whoever sends that keyword to my number automatically gets into this group. Let's imagine I've named the keyword join. My group type could be anyone, also be properties, vehicles. I'm going to use join right now. This, if I'm in a situation where I could grab and capture your SMS wishes or your birthday wishes. I mean, I could grab your birthdays and send you birthday wishes. I'm going to make it right here, and I could select that the automatic response that you get. It should be something like this, okay? But just for this test, I'm just going to put this. Now, all of these are not required. If you want to know what it means, you can simply click right here. Better. And what's important is that it just to make folks confirm for the second time if they want to come into your list or not. And here is notify yourself whenever an individual comes into this list. I'm going to click save. I'm not going to put a number, I'll just leave it like that. So I got my demo, right? So the first automation you want to do, okay? Because everything you got right here are small tools. First automation you want to do is here, example. So you probably want to come right here and select your demo. The first thing is whatever I got in my demo. Data. I can easily come right here. So let's imagine I have 1 million data in my demo file, and I want to target by cities, postal code, states. This is where I could just put in the city, the postal code. The states comes up if I move away because I'm not using the US for my Twilio. So I believe if I come away from that, I'm going to be able to have that. Anyway, as soon as I could select this if I want, not required, but here is how the first automation could start. So I'm going to schedule a delivery date. The arrows are supposed to show, but they're not showing right now. We're going to fix that so you can see the arrows. But if you just come right here at the work, if I imagine that this message will go on 15, just imagine that, okay? Put my message that one, could be SMS, MMS, OTP if I wanted. OTP, the system automatically generates the one-time password, sends it to your customers verify. So let's imagine I want to send out the SMS, right? I could also pick up files, right? I could go on my Facebook and pick up files from Facebook, Instagram. Super easy, super easy and super neat. Just verify, put in my data, and I'm actually in. I wouldn't go right now. I could even search, saying hi, hello, share on search on the internet, and that's you just put that into my message. It's kind of very easy though. Let's upload this. Just put it right here, and it's uploaded permanently here. I could check it out, and that's a message for you. Anyway, so let's imagine I get my message. This is when you have several numbers. Okay. I do not even need this. Let me just go send. What's important now is, okay, I don't have any contacts in the group, so that's the reason why I didn't send it. Let's select this one that I have contacts in. Just okay, anytime in the future or anytime I want. Anyway, put my message for an example, just send it. So it's gone to 19 folks, but now I'm gonna come right here, see what I'm trying to see. Is this one. Now, what's so amazing about this is, you see, I can have what we call weekly increments or monthly increments. So that message I just made, I could decide to say, well, I want to automate it and send the same message every week or every month. When I click on this, it's going to generate it. See? I click on it one more time, generates it. And it keeps increasing the amount of time. Now it's 1 month. See? when you attach it, it knows exactly because it knows the message. I can touch this one, it still makes it accurate. You see, and it keeps going. No matter what I touch, it knows that message and it's going to make it accurate. So this is the first level of automation I could do, where I could have you recurring messages going. Another automation that you already understand is that group that I created, if I send this keyword or this keyword, you're going to get in here automatically. And I could also use a QR code to make folks come into these groups automatically when they create, when they scan this QR code. These are already automations that the small tools are doing for you. If I want to go in and complete more automations, I could now, example, go to my autoresponder. On all pages, you actually have this button at the right side. Once you click on it, you're going to be able to perform a lot of features on this page. If I clicked on here, I could do an automation here for all the responders that says, for everybody that came in that group with a name here, I could also, of course, have my template that I already created here. Okay, that's just templates. It's just right here. All right. Always come here, create template, just name it whatever you want to name it. Hey. What, okay? That's it right here. I got my templates looking for me now. What, okay? So let's imagine that under my template just pop up what now? I could say demo. I have what, right? Hey, and it says what automatically. I do not need to always write and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. And then where does this automation come in? Well, it actually comes in. Remember, you can let that whoever comes into this group automatically receives this message. It could be instant, it could be in hours, it could be in minutes, it could be in days, but it's lovely because you could do a lot of automation with this. And it's based upon their behavior that they came into your list before all this automation started. Now you also have another automation that you can do that's even more powerful in your gateway, with your gateway autoresponder with this. Now you have this kind of automation where it behaves like a bot now, like a chat bot on your computer, where somebody sends a message to your phone, a response comes based on these factors. So it's no longer recurring or something automated. There, no, it's just whatever. So they go send you something. You already have a lot of, ready set templates ready to fire off. Once the person sends a message to you, they're getting automations based on this criteria. Is that no? I think I'm showing you the wrong thing. Sorry. You can see my screen now. So I was trying to show you for the gateway here, okay? And I say the gateway autoresponder, okay? And I was saying that you could receive automations based off these criteria. So if a person sends you a message, it's no longer recurring or other automations I showed you. It's going to be exact matches or contains the message or matches regular expressions in that individual's response. So as I already stated, you should imagine a chatbot and someone just sends something to your number and automatically a response comes because you already have a lot of template responses, right? Ready to fire away. So these are some of the automations there. Let me go back right now to small tools. Let's look at the polls, automation for the polls. So I created an automation right here to ask some questions. You like space. This shows some of the responses. It shows a graph, okay? And here it was all about coming right here and adding the poll. Do you like space? And then give some options. Based off this option, this is what we could say, okay, example. So you like space, okay? And this could be A. Do you like space? You can say choose. Do you like space? So when you see this A, it's what's going to happen is going to be, you could of course say A for, you know, demo, B for orange, or A for yes. Okay, B for no, make it even simpler. So A for yes, thanks, you love space. B for no, really? You don't like space? That's what I'm talking about for an example, and you can do more. So then you want data, right? And of course, this is going to be a message that the person receives if they did not, if they go type in a response not based off what you want. So anything, no, please choose one. So I could say to you, really like space. Just make this different. I mean, I save it. You really like space. So you see, A for B, B for no. And then folks start to respond. And what's so amazing is, apart from the fact that I'm seeing individual responses, I could see even things better here. Like here, I begin to see number of votes, those that answered, a lot of beautiful things, because folks are voting. Now I could also create contests right here. And folks could go into a contest and automatically the system will choose the winner. You could also just randomly choose a winner that you wanted. We even got automation for question and answer bots now, directly, where based off of a keyword that they sent you your phone, automation starts. You could start asking questions. And based off these questions, you receive alerts, and that individual receives a response, and you could add more and more and more questions. Profit for your questionnaire, profit for your marketing surveys, profit for political campaigns, profit for a lot of things. Of course, you also got your mobile coupons that you could create. You also got your loyalty programs with the punch codes. When you put your mouse here, you would know what it is. And the loyalty program, of course, is connected to your kiosk builder. Select the loyalty program, of course. Put your logos, your data. You could see, you could join, check out your punch cards. I mean, check out your punch card, yeah, check out your points that you got. Collect more additional data into your kiosk. You also got your birthday wishes, which you could use to automate that. The system automatically sends birthdays to everybody in your list, because remember, it's going to ask for the birthday data. So this is your birthday automation here. This is your mobile page builder. I won't talk about this because not a lot of automation is done here, but if you want to do crazy automation here, if you just come here, click on the service, for an example, I'll come here right now, click on this web page, okay? I'll come here, click on pages, copy this, come back here, paste it in, and all of a sudden, I have the web page there. And even more amazing, I could begin to edit it now. The whole web page itself, it can become mine. It makes your coding faster. Now you can play around, and that's how you get your mobile splash pages ready for your customers. The whole page is here. You go however, and then of course you just save. You put scripts. So you don't need to just put in Google Maps. Any script will go in here. When you create now, okay, I can just see what I have. So simple. And it's called clickable. You see? I could direct folks. I could direct folks where I want to go. It's like a working website now. All working properly, where everything's working. And what's also amazing is I could also just send it, of course. If I want to send it right now, boom, it's going to take me to where to send it at. Nice. Because here, mobile splash pages, hey. See, I could just take this, that's the link, and look for it and say, okay, This is it. It's existing now. And these are some of the beautiful things you can do with SMS-iT. If you want to talk about the small tools, you have a lot of beautiful things to do. Of course, you also got your web sign-up widgets. So you can use this to automate the collection of data from your website or your app to SMS-iT. For an example, I could preview this widget now. The defaults, see how you could collect data and goes into whatever group that you got in SMS-iT, because you can always choose a group here first, remember? And I could decide to collect more data, and it populates so easily. Most importantly, then I could just create the widget. That's it. Now I could embed it as an iframe to my website, as a pop-up widget to my website, or I could send it off as links in my email campaigns. This is how I automate, folks coming into SMS-iT from my website. I have the QR code here builder, which is one of the most beautiful features that we got for all the maiden features. All the way you put your link right here, you can just go and you can automate testing, automate emailing by just scanning this, automate your location, automate your calls, folks calling you, automate folks sending you an SMS message, automate folks contact you right now on WhatsApp, automate folks coming to chat with you right now, calling you in chat, automate folks automatically joining a Zoom meeting, millions of people if you want it, because they do not need to go to a link to just scan this. Same thing with your Wi-Fi data. Same thing with putting all data into your recipient's contact in their phone. Same thing with your events, and if you want to sell immediately with your SIM card, your QR code, you just use this PayPal, and you can have folks buy right now, add to cart, or donate. Your PayPal email is here in how much you selling this for or receiving donations for, or right here. Same thing with Bitcoin. It's automatically connected to Coinbase, so you instantly receive your coins in your wallet. But what's even more amazing about this is not the fact that you can just generate QR codes. It's the fact that you can actually generate brandable QR codes that matches your brain. All right. And what do I mean by that? I'm trying to do something right now, as you can see from my screen. All right. So I'm just quickly trying to show you how you can customize this QR code in just a few clicks. All right. And that's it. You see how beautiful it is. Anybody right now can scan this and you would see it goes automatically to this. Same thing can be done for the tags or others. And I could even make it cleaner by coming right here. Now it's cleaner. I don't need to go look for a PayPal logo if I want to get my payment from PayPal or Bitcoin. I could just click this and I got PayPal. Same thing with Bitcoin. And of course, I could really dive down deep and really say, you know what, I really want it to be like my brain. So I want the same color of my brain. So easy, you come right here. And you go and inspect, right? Now you want to do this, right? Now you want to do this, take the color. You want to take the color of whatever you want. Let's imagine this is this now. This is your color all of a sudden. Now you can just come right here and put that color here. And now when you generate, you're going to have it exactly the same. Same thing you could do with any of these colors. And of course, when you try to download, it's going to be a heavy file. A very big file you can download it and you can have the file seen by everybody. And like what I'm doing right now, you can have the file on your t-shirts, on your ad materials. The quality is very high and it's HD. And I believe that quickly wraps up what the most of the tools that you got here in the smart tools section. And of course, if you wanted to do tracking, you could use this short URL feature to actually monitor your tracking for links. However, we've noticed that a lot of operators frown upon using short URL links that are not connected to your site. They see the spam, especially Bitly. So we would be putting in new short links URL choices, and also the ability to actually utilize your own customized short links. So that way you don't have issues with spam. Okay. So I believe that is all. And if you
Okay, great, Henry. Let's wrap it up. There's a few lingering questions on the chat window, and so I'll answer that real quick so that we can wrap it up. So one person asked, we're gonna heard that AppSumo LTV buyers will get their free number within 2 months. Can you elaborate on this? No, you won't get a free number in 2 months. You'll get access to a free shared SMPP. And so if you go back and listen to the recording of the video, Henry talks about this free SMPP, the limitation and whatnot. And so, yeah, Henry will post the recording of the video, and if you go back and look at that. The rest of the message is in regards to limits. Okay, so if we use a SIM card method, will SMS credits from SMS being used or our phone plan limits apply? Okay, so keep in mind that think of SMS-iT as the cloud version as a retail version, right? So the retail version, you buy it, you go in, you get to use it right away, you get your own phone number, everything. The decentralized version is basically a professional business version. So we use the professional business version to basically power the cloud version, right? And so basically on the decentralized, you have to set it up. You have to set it up with something that provides text message. So that means that you're not getting a phone number, you're not getting anything, and everything is required to set up. But we're giving you the tools. We're giving you all the tools that you need on the decentralized version, basically that we're using to power the cloud version, right? And so with that, whenever you're using the SIM card, of course, you're piggybacking on the phone SIM card. And so, of course, if your carrier allows you to only send out 100 messages and you try to send out 200, of course, they're going to charge you extra. What our tool allows you to do is connect it to your SIM card through Android phone. So that's what our software allows you to do, so that you can basically get things cheaper. So, as you're using the professional version of the software, keep in mind that it's a professional version of it. And so some setups, it's more complicated than others. Some of them require servers and stuff like that. And that's why it's more complicated, because you're on a professional version. And so bear with us. I think as time gets by, there'll be more and more videos. As time goes by, there will be more AMA calls that you can ask questions. But you're basically essentially getting a wholesale version. You're not buying Twilio that costs X amount. You're getting everything is wholesale, right? So it's wholesale, but at the same time, all these softwares that they sell, they also have to set up their wholesale version of it, and it requires configuring some stuff. So that's kind of the difference between cloud and decentralized. Cloud is for retail. It works outside the box. Decentralized is kind of the wholesale version where you have to configure some things, and there's a lot of options to configure. There's a lot of options to configure, and so based on the options, some people may be getting confused on it. But if you're willing to hang out with us, we will be doing tutorial videos to send out different stuff. If there's any gaps in the education and the tutorial videos, you're able to jump on the AMAs that we'll be hosting frequently. If you're still having problems, there's always one-on-one help. You can schedule a Zoom with Henry and get one-on-one help. There's always support tickets. So the help is there, but also it also requires some time on your side to set things up. Okay. And yes, we'll be posting a recording on this. Appreciate everybody's time that joined. We'll be setting up the calendar for the next AMA, and we'll slowly start to also release tutorial videos. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thanks everybody. We go and see each other in the next tutorial. Okay.
Okay. So somebody asked about how do I schedule to onboarding one-on-one. All you have to do is go to the home page. Henry, can you go to the home page and then scroll all the way to the bottom? And then at the bottom right, you'll see scheduling a one-on-one appointment with the developer. So you can always do that.
So currently, all you do is come right here, and then you got this. And
click
on this, and then you can just schedule the appointment. You can choose 30 or 60 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. So in the long run, if you have the patience and you have the time to figure out the decentralized, you'll find it pretty powerful because there's a lot of connections you can do. There's a lot of things that you can do. If you want something that works, just ready to work, then that's the cloud version, because that's the version for retail. Okay. If you want kind of the wholesale pricing and you want to basically do what we did for cloud, then go with decentralized, and there's a lot of variable connections to that, and depending on but eventually our goal for both versions is to get out the information for that you can do it on yourself. We have like I said, Zoom support, email support, chat support, Facebook groups. We'll answer questions on there, and we'll have the AMAs where you can ask questions, and we'll slowly release videos also. Thanks a lot for your time today, and see you guys next time. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.